Welcome to 2022 Election Night in America, the first major midterms since Joe Biden was elected president in 2020, and they will tonight determine the course of his legislative agenda during the next 2 years of his presidency. Tonight we are looking at the 2022 Senate races as well as the governor elections that are happening simultaneously as well in only 36 states. So this is a big night, and let's get started. It is now 7 p.m. and we have poll closings in Georgia, Indiana, Kentucky, South Carolina, and Vermont. In Indiana, Todd Young has been re-elected U.S. Senator of Indiana. The senior U.S. Senator has won a second term. Currently, he is winning by around 19 points, a margin that is expected to narrow up a little bit over Hammond Mayor Thomas McDermott. In Kentucky, Rand Paul is the projected winner, winning a third term in office. He's the junior senator. Currently, he's winning by around 24-25 points over State Senator Charles Booker. And in South Carolina, Tim Scott is the projected winner. He has won re-election to a second full term. He did win the special election back in 2014. Currently, he is winning by around 26 percentage points with 8% reporting. And in Vermont, Peter Welch, the incumbent U.S. representative from Vermont's at-large district, is the projected winner in this open seat race. After Patrick Leahy retired, Peter Welch will be elected to succeed him, defeating Gerald Malloy in a landslide. In Georgia, it is too close to call currently, 11% of the vote reporting, and Raphael Warnock has an early lead over Herschel Walker. This is the Senate map at this time. Currently, Republicans hold 32 seats and Democrats hold 37. And in Vermont's governor race, Phil Scott is the projected winner. He has won re-election to another term, defeating Brenda Siegel in an absolute landslide of nearly 50 points. In South Carolina's governor race, Henry McMaster currently leads over Joe Cunningham, but this is too early to call as of right now. This is only about an 8% margin currently for Henry McMaster, so we are not prepared to make a call yet for this one. In Georgia, it is too close to call, 11% of the vote reporting, and Brian Kemp has a very very narrow early lead over Stacey Abrams. This is the governor's composition thus far. Republicans have won 10 governorships, actually only 9 governorships, that's a mistake, excuse that, and Democrats have won 6. It is now 7:30 p.m. and we have poll closings for North Carolina and Ohio. In North Carolina's Senate race, it is currently too close to call. Ted Budd leads Cherry Beasley by around 7 points right now, with 12% of the vote reporting. This is too close to call. And in Ohio Senate race, same deal. This is also too close to call. 15% of the vote reporting here. And Tim Ryan actually leads over J.D. Vance. This race does favor J.D. Vance, but Tim Ryan leads in the early vote. This is the Senate composition thus far. Still 32 seats for Republicans to 37 for Democrats. In Ohio's governor race, Mike DeWine is the projected winner. He has won re-election in an absolute landslide over Nan Whaley. In South Carolina's governor race, we can now project that Henry McMaster has won re-election to another term. Thus far, he is winning by around 10 points over Joe Cunningham, a margin that may or may not increase or decrease as the rest of the vote is counted tonight. This is the composition for the governors. Currently, Republicans hold 11 governorships and Democrats hold 6. It is now 8 p.m. and we have poll closings for Alabama, Connecticut, Florida, Illinois, Maryland, Missouri, New Hampshire, Oklahoma, and Pennsylvania. In Alabama's Senate race, Katie Britt is the projected winner, succeeding retiring 36-year incumbent Richard Shelby. She's winning right now in a landslide over Will Boyd. And in Missouri's Senate race, Eric Schmidt is the projected winner, winning his first term in the United States Senate, succeeding retiring Roy Blunt. He is currently leading by 19 points over Trudy Bush Valentine. In Oklahoma Senate race, the regular Senate race that is, James Lankford is the projected winner, winning a second full 6-year term. He's defeating Madison Horn by an absolute landslide of nearly 40 points right now. And in Oklahoma's special Senate election, Markwayne Mullin is the projected winner. He will become the new junior senator from Oklahoma. He's currently slightly underperforming James Lankford's numbers, defeating former U.S. Representative Kendra Horn by a significant margin. In Connecticut, Richard Blumenthal is the projected winner of another term. Currently, he is defeating Laura Levy by around 14 points, an underperformance of last time, but a win is still a win. And in Illinois' Senate race, Tammy Duckworth is the projected winner, winning her second full term. She is projected to win by around 20 points currently, although this margin may narrow up. In Maryland's U.S. Senate election, Chris Van Hollen has won re-election to another term. Currently, he's defeating Chris Chafee in a landslide. And in Florida's Senate election, it is too early to call. Marco Rubio has an early lead of 7% over Val Demings in this closely watched race. In New Hampshire's Senate election, another closely watched race, Maggie Hassan has a 6-point lead over retired General Don Bolduc. Hassan is favored going into tonight, but anything can happen. And in Pennsylvania's Senate race, it is too close to call. This is a key race tonight, as Mehmet Oz currently trails John Fetterman in the early vote count very narrowly. And in Georgia, it is still too close to call. Now 23% of the vote is reporting, and Raphael Warnock's lead has dwindled over Herschel Walker, but he is still above the 50% threshold needed to avoid a runoff. This is the Senate map now. Republicans are at 36 Senate seats and Democrats are at 40. And in Alabama's governor race, Kay Ivey is the projected winner, winning another term. She's winning right now by around 38 points, I guess. In New Hampshire's governor race, Chris Sununu is the projected winner. Currently, he is winning by around 33 points. Yes, 33 points. In Tennessee's governor race, Bill Lee is the projected winner, winning another term as governor. He is winning right now by 22 points over Jason Martin. In Illinois' governor race, J.B. Pritzker is the projected winner. Some polls did have this race as being really close, but in the end it didn't really matter. J.B. Pritzker is easily winning this race pretty handily, although this margin is expected to decrease a little bit as more of the rural vote comes in, but this is still an easy win for J.B. Pritzker. In Maryland's governor race, Wes Moore is the projected winner. This is a gain, the first gain of the night, and it goes to Democrats. After Larry Hogan decided to retire, Wes Moore has easily won this race. He is defeating Dan Cox in an absolute landslide. And in Massachusetts governor race, Mara Healey is the projected winner. She has gained this seat for Democrats as Charlie Baker decided to retire, and she is winning right now in an absolute huge landslide of around 33 percentage points. In Rhode Island, it is too early to call. 16% of the vote reporting, and currently Dan McKee has a lead over Ashley Callis, a lead that may or may not increase or decrease. In Connecticut's governor election, it is too close to call. 17% of the vote reporting, and Ned Lamont has an early lead over Bob Stefanowski. In Florida's governor race, it is too early to call. 30% of the vote reporting, and Ron DeSantis has an early lead over Charlie Crist. In Maine's governor election, it is too close to call. 7% of the vote only reporting here. These are very early numbers. Janet Mills currently has a large lead over former Governor Paul LePage. And in Oklahoma, it is too early to call. Surprisingly, we cannot call Oklahoma at this time. Kevin Stitt does have an early lead over Joy Hoffmeister, because Hoffmeister was a strong candidate and Stitt is not the most popular incumbent. However, Stitt is still expected to win, but we are unable to make that call as of right now. In Pennsylvania's governor race, it is too close to call. 19% of the vote reporting, and Josh Shapiro, the state attorney general, has an early lead over Doug Mastriano. In Georgia, it is too close to call, and currently Brian Kemp's lead has gone up over Stacey Abrams. This is the composition for the governor's map. Republicans are at 14 seats and Democrats are at 9 seats. It is now 8:30 p.m. and we have poll closings for Arkansas. And in Arkansas, John Boozman has been projected to win another term in the United States Senate. He's currently winning it by around 21 to 22 points. We now have a key race projection to make. This is important, and it is in Florida, where in the Senate race, Marco Rubio is projected to be the winner of a third term. He is winning right now by around 9 points over Val Demings with 60% of the vote reporting. North Carolina is still too close to call. Ted Budd has a lead still over Cherry Beasley, but it has gone down some. 35% of the vote reporting now. In Ohio's Senate race, it is too close to call as well. J.D. Vance is now leading over Tim Ryan. This is an important development, as he will likely keep that lead for the rest of tonight. In New Hampshire, it is too close to call. 24% of the vote reporting. Maggie Hassan's lead has gone down over Don Bolduc, the retired general. And in Pennsylvania, too close to call. Mehmet Oz has gained on John Fetterman's lead. It is anyone's game at this point in time. In Georgia, it is too close to call still. 31% of the vote reporting. And now Raphael Warnock is below the 50% threshold needed to avoid a runoff. So it is anyone's game at this point. This is the Senate map. Republicans are at 38 seats and Democrats are at 40 seats. In Arkansas's governor race, Sarah Huckabee Sanders is the projected winner. The former White House press secretary has won this open seat. She is winning right now by around 29 points. In Florida, Ron DeSantis is the projected winner. He has won another term. This is a major call to make. Currently, he is winning right now by around 9 points, similar to Marco Rubio's margin, but this margin is actually expected to outperform Rubio as more of the vote comes in. In Oklahoma, we can project Kevin Stitt is the projected winner. He has won re-election to another term, defeating Joy Hoffmeister by around 15 points right now, a margin that may fluctuate a little bit as more of the vote comes in. And in Connecticut, Ned Lamont is the projected winner. This is a call that we didn't think we could make this early, but we can. It's really no contest at this point. Lamont currently leads by double digits over Stefanowski with 40% of the vote reporting. Stefanowski is struggling in the early vote, and it just is not looking good for him. So we can project this early on that Ned Lamont has been re-elected governor. In Rhode Island, it is still too early to call. 34% of the vote reporting, and Dan McKee's lead has gone down over Ashley Callis. In Maine, it is too close to call. 19% of the vote reporting, and Janet Mills' lead has decreased over former Governor Paul LePage. And in Pennsylvania, too close to call. 28% of the vote reporting, and Josh Shapiro's lead has dwindled over Doug Mastriano. In Georgia, too close to call. Brian Kemp's lead has grown over Stacey Abrams with 33% reporting. This is the map right now. We are looking at 17 seats for Republicans and 10 for Democrats. It is now 9 p.m. and we have poll closings for Colorado, Kansas, Louisiana, Michigan, Minnesota, Nebraska, New Mexico, New York, North Dakota, Texas, Wisconsin, and Wyoming. In Kansas, the Senate race will go to Jerry Moran, who has won another term. He has defeated former Kansas City Mayor Mark Holland by a sizable margin. And in Louisiana, John Kennedy has won re-election to another term. He is winning right now over his two largest Democratic opponents by a huge margin of well over 40 points. Those two challengers being Gary Chambers and Luke Mixon. We can project that he will not be going below 50%. And in North Dakota, John Hoeven has been projected to win another term, and currently he is winning by over 50 points over Katrina Christensen. In South Dakota, John Thune, the Senate Minority Whip, is the projected winner. Currently he is winning by about 40 points right now. Yeah, about 40 points. And in New York, Chuck Schumer is the projected winner, winning another term. In the early vote count, he is leading with 64%, a margin that may or may not decrease as the night continues, but we can still project Chuck Schumer to win. In Colorado, it is too early to call. Michael Bennet has an early lead over Joe O'Dea. In Wisconsin, it is too close to call, and Ron Johnson has an early lead over Mandela Barnes. This is the Senate composition right now. Republicans are at 42, Democrats are at 41. In Nebraska's governor race, Jim Pillen is the projected winner, filling this open seat. He will appoint Senator Ben Sass's replacement. He is winning right now by 23 points. In South Dakota, Kristi Noem is the projected winner, winning another term as governor. She is defeating Jamie Smith by around 24 points. In Wyoming, Mark Gordon is the projected winner, winning another term as governor. He's winning right now by a solid margin over Teresa Livingston. In Colorado, Jared Polis is the projected winner. We couldn't project Bennett, but we can project Jared Polis has won because he's outperforming Bennett tonight. He's currently defeating Heidi Ganahl by around 16 percentage points. In Kansas, it is too close to call thus far. 14% of the vote reporting. It's anyone's game. Currently, Derek Schmidt has an early lead over Laura Kelly. In Michigan, it is too close to call. 11% of the vote reporting. And Gretchen Whitmer has an early lead over Tudor Dixon. In Minnesota, it is too close to call. 10% of the vote reporting. And Tim Walz has an early lead over Scott Jensen. In New Mexico, too close to call. 9% of the vote only reporting here. These are early numbers. Michelle Lujan Grisham has an early lead of almost double digits over Mark Ronchetti. In Texas, it is too early to call. With 15% of the vote reporting, we cannot call this race quite yet. Currently, Greg Abbott has a 11-point lead over Beto O'Rourke. In Wisconsin, it is too close to call. 12% of the vote reporting, and Tony Evers has an early lead over Tim Michaels. In New York, it is too close to call. 20% of the vote reporting right now, and Kathy Hochul is underperforming Chuck Schumer big tonight. She's underperforming him big. She is only leading at this point by less than 11 percentage points right now, with only 20% reporting, and we cannot call this race as of yet. In Rhode Island, it is still too early to call. I know, still too early with 51% of the vote reporting. We should probably say still too close, but, I mean, we're stupid. Dan McKee currently leads by 5 points over Ashley Callis. In Maine, it is too close to call still. 35% of the vote reporting. Janet Mills' lead continues to narrow over former Governor Paul LePage. In Pennsylvania, too close to call. 44% of the vote reporting. And Doug Mastriano has gained on Josh Shapiro. In Georgia, it is too close to call. 49% of the vote reporting right now. And Brian Kemp has a 7-point lead over Stacey Abrams. This is the governor's map right now, with Republicans at 20 seats and Democrats at 11 seats. It's now 10 p.m. and we have poll closings for Arizona, Iowa, Montana, Nevada, and Utah. In Iowa's Senate race, Chuck Grassley, the 89-year-old senator, has been re-elected to another term. He's winning right now by around 17, 16 points right now. About 17 points. This is an underperformance of last time, and he is expected to win by even less, considering the polling. But this is still a solid win for Chuck Grassley tonight. We now have key race projections to make, and that is in North Carolina. We can project now that Ted Budd has been elected to his first term as United States Senator from North Carolina, and he's defeating Cheri Beasley by around 5 points currently, with 2/3 of the vote reporting. And another big call in Ohio Senate race. J.D. Vance, the projected winner in the Ohio Senate race, and he is defeating Tim Ryan by a little bit less than 5 points. This margin will likely increase a little bit more as the remaining 15% is reported. In Arizona, it is too close to call currently, with Mark Kelly having an early lead over Blake Masters. In Nevada, too close to call, and Catherine Cortez Masto trails Republican challenger Adam Laxalt. In Utah, this is too early to call right now, 17% of the vote reporting, and Mike Lee currently leads over his opponent, independent Evan McMullen. In New Hampshire, it is too close to call still, and Maggie Hassan's lead has narrowed up over Don Bolduc. In Pennsylvania, it is too close to call. Mehmet Oz has actually now taken the lead over John Fetterman, which is important. 63% of the vote reporting. This is still anyone's race. In Georgia, it is too close to call. 58% of the vote reporting, and now Herschel Walker has taken the lead over Raphael Warnock. In Wisconsin's Senate race, it is too close to call. 38% of the vote reporting, and Ron Johnson still leads over Mandela Barnes. This is the Senate map right now. Republicans are at 45 seats and Democrats are at 41 seats. In Iowa's governor race, Kim Reynolds is the projected winner. Just as we could project Chuck Grassley, we can project Kim Reynolds as one. She's winning right now, outperforming Grassley by quite a bit, defeating Deidre DeGier by around 24 points right now. We have key race projections to make right now, and that is first in the state of Texas, where Greg Abbott has won re-election to a third term as governor, winning right now by around 9 points. In Rhode Island, Dan McKee is the projected winner. We can now project Dan McKee as one. He is winning right now by only about 5.5%. He is unpopular, but Rhode Island is too progressive of a state for that to really matter that much. With 72% of votes reporting, we can project Dan McKee as one. In Arizona, too close to call currently, 17% of the vote reporting, and Katie Hobbs is an early lead over Kari Lake. In Nevada, it is too close to call, 14% of the vote reporting, and Joe Lombardo leads over Steve Sisolak by 12 points. In Kansas, too close to call, 46% of the vote reporting now, and Derek Schmidt still leads over Laura Kelly. In Michigan, too close to call, and we have 36% reporting. Gretchen Whitmer currently leads over Tudor Dixon by around 3 points. In Minnesota, too close to call, 34% of the vote reporting, and Scott Jensen gains on Tim Walz. In New Mexico, too close to call, 30% of the vote reporting, and Michelle Lujan Grisham's lead has dwindled over Mark Ronchetti. In Wisconsin, too close to call, and it is a dead heat. Only 0.2% separates Tony Evers, the incumbent, and Tim Michels. In New York, too close to call still, 41% of the vote reporting. Lee Zeldin should be patting himself on the back right now. Even if he doesn't win, he should be patting himself on the back. Currently, he has dwindled Kathy Hochul down to single digits. In Maine, it is too close to call, 51% of the vote reporting, and Janet Mills still leads over former Governor Paul LePage. In Pennsylvania, too close to call, 57% of the vote reporting, and Josh Shapiro is still leading over Doug Mastriano. In Georgia, it is too close to call, 65% of the vote reporting, and Governor Brian Kemp still leads over Stacey Abrams. This is the governor's map right now, with Republicans holding 22 seats and Democrats holding 12 seats. It is now 11 p.m. and we have poll closings for California, Hawaii, Idaho, Oregon, and Washington. In Idaho's Senate race, Mike Crapo has been reelected to another term, or Crapo if you really dislike this guy. He has won right now by around 40 points over David Roth. I think it's David Roth. In California, Alex Padilla is the projected winner, winning his first full term. He is winning right now by around 20 points over Mark Muser. In Hawaii's Senate race, Brian Schatz is the projected winner, winning in an absolute landslide over Bob McDermott. In Oregon's Senate race, Ron Wyden has won re-election. He is winning a landslide over Joe Ray Perkins. And we have a key race projection to make, and that is in Utah, where Mike Lee has been re-elected U.S. Senator over independent Evan McMullin. He's winning right now by 11 to 12 points, an underperformance for him, but all things considered, he should be glad that he escaped alive tonight. In Colorado's Senate race, also, Michael Bennet is the projected winner. We didn't expect to be able to project this, but Michael Bennet has won with 62% of the vote reporting. We just cannot see a pathway for Joe O'Dea to be able to win this race. In Washington, too early to call, 11% reporting, and Patty Murray leads over Tiffany Smiley thus far. In Arizona, too close to call, 34% of the vote reporting, and Mark Kelly still leads over Blake Masters. In Nevada, too close to call, and Catherine Cortez Masto has gained on Adam Laxalt. In New Hampshire, it is too close to call, 74% reporting, and we still cannot call this race for either candidate. Currently, it is a 1.4% difference between Maggie Hassan, the incumbent, and Don Bolduc. In Pennsylvania, it is too close to call, Mehmet Oz still leading over John Fetterman. In Georgia, too close to call, 80% reporting, and neither candidate has a majority. In fact, they are both tied. This is anyone's game. In Wisconsin, it is too close to call currently, with Ron Johnson now leading Mandela Barnes by a sizable amount. This is the Senate map. Republicans are at 47 seats and Democrats are at 45 seats. In Idaho's governor election, Brad Little has been re-elected governor. He is winning right now by around 30 points. We have key race projections now to make, and that is in Georgia, where Brian Kemp has been re-elected governor without having to go to a runoff. He is winning right now by slightly less than 7 percentage points, with 83% of the vote reporting. There is no way Stacey Abrams can catch up. And in New York, Kathy Hochul has been re-elected, actually not re-elected because she was never elected to begin with. She has been elected governor for her first full term. She's defeating Lee Zeldin by a very narrow margin considering this is New York, but we do not see a path to victory for her. We know that there is still plenty of New York vote coming in yet, but we also know there's some rural vote coming in. We know it will balance it. The rest of it will balance itself out. And so this is about the margin we will be seeing for tonight. In California's governor race, Gavin Newsom is the projected winner, winning another term. He's defeating Brian Dahle by a solid margin of around 22 percentage points. In Hawaii, Josh Green is the projected winner. The lieutenant governor will now become the governor, and he is winning right now by a sizable margin over former lieutenant governor Duke Aiona. In Oregon, it is too close to call. This is anyone's game tonight with the third-party challenger. Tina Kotek currently trails Christine Drazan, with Betsy Johnson in third with 21%. In Arizona, too close to call, Kari Lake has gained over Katie Hobbs. That should say 49%. Excuse that. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking there. In Kansas, it is too close to call, 73% reporting, and Derek Schmidt still leads over Laura Kelly barely. In Michigan, it is too close to call, 54% of the vote reporting, and Gretchen Whitmer still leads over Tudor Dixon. In Nevada, too close to call, 40% of the vote reporting, and Joe Lombardo still leads over Governor Steve Sisolak. In Minnesota, it is too close to call, and Governor Tim Walz still leads over Scott Jensen. In New Mexico, too close to call, 51% of the vote reporting, and it is a 5-point race between Michelle Lujan Grisham and Mark Ronchetti. In Wisconsin, it is too close to call, 60% of the vote reporting, and now Tim Michels leads over incumbent Governor Tony Evers. In Maine, it is too close to call, 70% of the vote reporting, and Janet Mills still has a lead over former Governor Paul LePage. In Pennsylvania, it is too close to call, 75% of the vote reporting, and Doug Mastriano still trails over Attorney General Josh Shapiro. This is the governor's map. Republicans are at 24 seats and Democrats are at 15 seats. It is now 1 a.m. and we have poll closings for the state of Alaska. In Alaska's Senate race, it is too early to call. We can project, however, that Buzz Kelly has been eliminated from this race after not receiving enough votes to make it to the second round. The next round will be between Republican Lisa Murkowski, Republican Kelly Tshibaka, and Democrat Pat Chesbro. We now have key race projections to make, and that is in Wisconsin, where Ron Johnson has been re-elected to a third term with 86% of the vote reporting. He is leading by around 3 points over Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes. Barnes is unable to catch up at this point. And in Washington, Patty Murray has been re-elected U.S. Senator by a narrower margin than last time. She's only winning this race by around 9.9% currently, a margin that may narrow up even a little bit more as more of the vote comes in. But we do not see pathway for Tiffany Smiley to be able to pull this off. In Arizona, it is too close to call, 69% reporting, and Mark Kelly still leads Blake Masters. In Nevada, it is too close to call, 68% reporting, and Adam Laxalt still leads over Catherine Cortez Masto. In New Hampshire, it is too close to call, 91% reporting, and we still cannot call this race, with Maggie Hassan still leading by only about a percentage point over Don Bolduc. In Pennsylvania, it is too close to call, with 89% of the vote reporting. Mehmet Oz still leads over John Fetterman. In Georgia, it is too close to call, 90% of the vote reporting, and Herschel Walker is now above the majority needed to avoid a runoff, which is huge. This is the Senate map. Republicans are at 48 seats and Democrats are at 46. We now have a key race projection, and that is in Kansas. Derek Schmidt has gained this seat for Republicans, the first gain of the night for Republicans. He has barely defeated Laura Kelly by only 1.1% about in this race. In Minnesota's governor race, Tim Walz has been re-elected governor to another term, defeating Scott Jensen currently by only about 4 percentage points, a margin that is expected to increase for him a little bit more because the remaining vote will come from the bigger cities. In Alaska's governor race, it is too early to call currently. 100% reporting of the first ranked choice vote round, and currently Mike Dunleavy is in the lead with 45%. Lesgar will advance second with 27%. Former Governor Bill Walker will be in third with 21%, and Charlie Pierce, the mayor of Peninsula, I can't remember, but he's mayor of something. He's coming in fourth, actually. He is eliminated from this race, and his vote will be distributed amongst the other candidates. In Oregon, still too close to call, 48% of the vote reporting, and Christine Drazan still leads over Tina Kotek and Betsy Johnson. In Arizona, too close to call, 73% of the vote reporting, and Kari Lake now leads over Katie Hobbs. In Michigan's governor race, it is too close to call, 76% of the vote reporting, and Gretchen Whitmer is still leading over Tudor Dixon. In Nevada's race, it is too close to call, 40% of the vote reporting, and Joe Lombardo is still leading over Governor Steve Sisolak. In New Mexico, too close to call, 79% of the vote reporting, and Mark Ronchetti is still trailing over incumbent Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham. In Wisconsin, it is too close to call currently, 82% of the vote reporting, and Tim Michels is almost at a 1-point lead over incumbent Governor Tony Evers. In Maine, it is too close to call. Janet Mills still leads over former Governor Paul LePage. In Pennsylvania, too close to call, 89% of the vote reporting, and Josh Shapiro is still leading over Doug Mastriano, the state senator. Republicans are now at 25 on the governor's map, and Democrats are now at 16. It is now 2 a.m., and we can look at the second round of the RCV count in Alaska's Senate race. It looks like the final tally will be between Lisa Murkowski and Kelly Tshibaka. They will both be advancing to a runoff, which will result in Democrat Pat Chesborough's vote getting eliminated and distributed amongst them to determine who the winner will be of this race. We now have key race projections to make. And that is in Georgia, where it will indeed advance to a runoff. With 99% reporting, Herschel Walker did not quite pass that threshold needed. He still won over Raphael Warnock, but it wasn't enough. He was not able to pass that threshold. So thus, a runoff will be held, and we will see who wins in the runoff. In New Hampshire's Senate race, Maggie Hassan is the projected winner. She's defeated Don Bolduc by 1.3% with 99% of the vote reporting. Bolduc has no path to victory. In Arizona's Senate race, Mark Kelly is the projected winner, a huge blow to Republicans as they were hoping to gain this seat, but he's barely winning this race only by about 0.74% with 99% of the vote reporting. In Nevada, it is too close to call currently. 93% of the vote is reporting, and Adam Laxalt still leads over Catherine Cortez Masto barely. In Pennsylvania, too close to call, Mehmet Oz has gained on John Fetterman. This is the composition for the Senate. Republicans are at 49 and Democrats are at 48. Republicans need 2 of the remaining states to take a majority, and we know that Georgia cannot be one of them. We now have key race projections to make, and that is in Nevada, where Joe Lombardo has been elected to his first term as governor of the state, defeating incumbent Governor Steve Sisolak by a very, very narrow margin. In Wisconsin's governor race, Tim Michels is the projected winner as well. He has gained this seat for his party. He has defeated Tony Evers by around 1 percentage point and still growing, as this is only 92% of the vote reporting. 8% still has yet to report. And in Arizona, Kari Lake is the projected winner in a race that was initially looking to be a flip for Democrats. Kari Lake is the projected winner, defeating Secretary of State Katie Hobbs by a fairly easy margin. With 92% reporting, this margin is expected to grow even more. And in Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer is the projected winner, winning another term. This was a very, very close race, but she has still defeated Tudor Dixon in a widely watched contest. And in Maine, Janet Mills is the projected winner of her race. She's defeated former Republican Governor Paul LePage by around 1.5%. 2.5% actually. And in New Mexico, Michelle Lujan Grisham has been reelected to another term over Mark Ronchetti, but she has won by less than 2%, only by about 1.65% has she won this race, and that margin is dropping still. Mark Ronchetti was a very good candidate, and this race nearly did flip. And in Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro has held this seat for his party. The Attorney General has been elected. He is winning right now by a margin of almost 2% over State Senator Doug Mastriano. And in Alaska, it is too close to call for the second round of ranked choice voting. Mike Dunleavy is almost above the 50% threshold, but not quite, and so the remaining vote will be distributed to Mike Dunleavy and his opponent, Democrat Les Gara. And in Oregon, it is too close to call currently still. 68% of the vote reporting, and Christine Drazan still leads over Tina Kotek and Betsy Johnson. This is the governor's map. Republicans are already at 28 seats, and Democrats are at 20. It is now 3 a.m. We have some key race projections to make, and that is in Alaska, where Lisa Murkowski is the projected winner. She is winning right now by less than 9 points over challenger Kelly Tshibaka. Murkowski did get most of the Democrats' support, which is why she is able to win by such a huge margin when she was trailing before. And in Nevada's Senate race, Adam Laxalt has gained this seat for Republicans. This is a gain, the first gain tonight in the Senate. He is winning right now by only 0.24%, an incredibly close race, but we can project him the winner. And in Pennsylvania, Mehmet Oz has won this seat in a race that Republicans were doubting that he'd be able to win, but he still won it. He's winning right now by 0.21% over John Fetterman, thus giving him a victory in the state. And this all means that Republicans will control the Senate for the next 2 years, and that Mitch McConnell will be the next Senate Majority Leader, a gain for them. This is the Senate map, with Republicans receiving 52 seats, Democrats receiving 48 seats, and excuse the fact that Georgia is colored in red, as we do not know whether or not the runoff will in fact give Herschel Walker the edge, but we will have to wait and see on that. We now have key race projections to make, and that is in Alaska, where Governor Mike Dunleavy has been reelected to another term. He's been reelected by around 7.7% over his opponent, Democrat Les Gara, with 100% of the third round of ranked choice voting reporting. And in Oregon's governor race, Christine Drazan is the projected winner, another gain for the Republican Party, This is huge. This is the first time in like 40 years that Oregon has actually gone red on the governor's level, so this is enormous. She's barely won over Tina Kotek and former state senator Betsy Johnson, with 99% of the vote reporting. This is the governor's map. We are looking at 30 seats for Republicans and 20 for Democrats. And that is the end of this video. Like and subscribe. This wore out my voice to make, so please do that. Thanks. Bye-bye.